We are live. Shane, what is up, man? I am excited for tonight.
Same here, man. We got some good stuff to talk about.
Absolutely. It's going to be fantastic. A lot of people registered too. About 2,000 people registered for the webinar tonight, Shane. So I hope you're bringing the good stuff like you told me you're going to.
Oh, we've got some good quality prepped here. The content's helpful. You know, Seller Central data is tough. The raw data is tough. Making sense of it is not easy. We're going to get into some good application and some ways to make it a little easier for people.
Absolutely. So guys, if you are just joining us, it's always fun for us to see where everyone's joining from. I already see some people doing that. Looks like we have people joining from Australia, Barcelona, South Korea, and it is late right now in Europe, so I got to give you guys credit.
Serious Amazon sellers.
Yes, these are people that are serious. And also, we would also love to see your biggest frustration with Seller Central. I could fill up the chat box myself if I put it in there, but I'm not going to block all that. I'd like to see what you guys have to say, and then we'll get started in just about 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what people are going to have to say here. For me, it's probably finding access to all of the reports, but I'm interested to see what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, absolutely. The reports are tricky. Man, it's just not user-friendly. I think it was designed 15 years ago and hasn't had too many updates since then.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say it was designed by developers for developers. And not all Amazon sellers are software developers. So,
biggest frustration, getting their data to match the 1099, figuring out the reports.
Yep, I'm with
making
Gail. Sense
of the reports in general. Yeah, we're getting a lot of good responses, and I feel your pain here. We're going to talk about this tonight. That being said, what do you think, Shane? Do we give everyone another minute, or should we go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let's give everybody another minute. We have a huge crowd coming in tonight, so let's give them another minute. And actually, Greg, I'm really excited right now because I just got done speaking with an Amazon seller, a lady named Jenny, and she told me the most motivational story. I'll share it in just a minute and a half, and then we'll jump into this. Excellent. So Jenny's a single mother of 3 living in Pennsylvania in the United States, and she confided in me something that was like quite personal. She's been struggling to find a way to really focus on her children without having to be distracted by work. She wanted a way to like really be a parent first, since she's the single mother, and find a way to like build a business around that. So she has actually no background in business, but she heard about Jungle Scout. And in mid 2016, she got the vision of starting a private label business, and man, she did it. So she found a product in the automotive sector on Jungle Scout, and she kind of tweaked the product a little bit, and really in a sense has kind of created her own vision for the product. Now she's got 3 variants in Amazon. And it's only been up since June, and her product was selling like hotcakes. I mean, she knew she was getting loads and loads of sales, but she wasn't really sure how to track those sales. So she contacted me through Fetcher. We got her set up with an account. And Greg, she did $290,000 in sales from June until December. What is that, like 7 months? And that's over
awesome.
over $100,000 in gross margin, $100,000 in her pocket. That's helping her and her family. And she quit her job. So she's at home, and she's focusing on her kids again and running the business on the side. It's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. I hope she's here tonight. Jenny, if you're watching, listening right now, ping us in the chat box. We'd love to see you.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, thanks for sharing that story, Shane. With that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and get started here. So I am Greg from Jungle Scout. If you don't know who I am, we like to do these webinars about 3 or 4 times a month. Oftentimes we'll do them with our in-house crew, or we'll bring in industry experts. They're educational type webinars for you guys. It is very much interactive. So if you are joining us live, go ahead and drop in the chat box any questions you have, and we're going to do our best to answer those throughout the night. Everyone always asks the question, will it be recorded? Yes, it will be recorded. However, if you're watching the replay, you're going to miss out, because about halfway through the webinar, we're going to give out a free download, and at the very end of the webinar, we have a special for you. So you're definitely going to want to stay with us if you are joining us live. With that being said, Shane, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure, of course. A lot of people know Greg. Greg's been in the business for a little while. Me, a little bit less so, but I used Jungle Scout to get started as an FBA seller. So I was working in Silicon Valley for a big tech company, and I got started with that FBA business on the side, kind of because I got a little bit disenfranchised with all the levels of bureaucracy between me and the top in the tech sector. I knew I was going to have to work my way up. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to build my own business, and FBA was an awesome way to get started. Jungle Scout helped me do that. So I've been an FBA seller for a little while now, but now I've come along and helped Greg get Fetcher started. So Fetcher is a tool for FBA sellers primarily. FBM sellers are also getting involved. But what we do is we make profit analytics for Amazon sellers. We make it easy. So we take the information that's in Seller Central and we make it digestible. So users can save a lot of time and they can handle their business calculations in Fetcher without having to do it themselves. We like to say that we put your bookkeeping on autopilot, saving time and guaranteeing your accurate bookkeeping. So today, Greg, thanks for having me on. I wanted to talk a little bit about how users can use kind of one of two different methodologies to get to the bottom of their Amazon seller data. What do you say?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So guys, this is going to be about a 1 hour session. We're going to try to limit it to 1 hour, and we're going to dedicate the time to helping you make sense of your raw Amazon seller data. And so as I said, there's really two methodologies that people can use to get the answers behind their business, the numbers behind their business. The first route is the manual route, and we're going to talk about that today. So that's creating, updating, and maintaining some kind of Excel wizard file with all the data that's necessary to show you how your Amazon business is performing. And then secondly, you got the software option. That's where Fetcher comes along, and Fetcher can do all this for you in an automated way. Today, I'm going to show you both. But as Greg said, we also have a few giveaways. So in about 15 minutes, I'm going to share a free resource that's been helping a lot of Amazon sellers save money on their refunds, which is really cool. Refunds are tough. And then at the end of the webinar, as Greg said, we're going to have a limited time offer specific to Fetcher, the software. So let's dive in. I've got a slide deck that I'm going to start sharing. But first, before we do, I want to share you, just kind of let you guys know, or like set the stage a bit. Why is this webinar important to you all who've joined from all around the world? Why is this stuff, how does this stuff affect you? I want to share a scary statistic that people who've talked with me have maybe heard me share before. I've been, since building Fetcher with Greg, I've been talking with loads of Amazon sellers. And I've polled over 1,000 of those Amazon sellers and came up with a really scary statistic. 80% are not confident in their numbers. 80% of Amazon sellers don't really know their sales, their expenses, and most importantly, their profits. And I think we can all agree that it's pretty difficult to maximize success as an Amazon seller if you're not able to correctly calculate your business metrics, your sales, your expenses, your profits, your return on investment, and many more. So, the metrics really tell a story about your business and indicate how to proceed with your business. And I came prepared with one of my favorite quotes. This is from Sherlock Holmes. Everybody knows the great fictional character from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's stories. He said, "It is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. Insensibly, one begins to twist facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit business." So today, we're all about trying to find ways to help you really get to the bottom of what your facts are so that you can make good decisions with your business. So with that, Greg, I'm going to share my screen and jump into the slide deck presentation.
Absolutely. That sounds good. And guys, there's a few people in the chat box just saying that the audio or the video might not be synced up for you. From time to time, our webinar platform is built on YouTube, so sometimes they have problems with the lagging. So just bear with us. There may be a link in the bottom right-hand side, in the bottom right of your screen to watch it on YouTube, which I think they buffer it a little bit better there. So you can try that. But I think the audio should be coming in loud and clear for everyone. That's going to be the main part of it. There's also going to be some screen share, but probably not quite as important.
Well, there's really two major buckets. You've got sales and you've got expenses. Obviously, you're going to subtract expenses from sales to get to profits. But we're going to go into more detail on each one of those buckets. So within sales, obviously, you see the list there. There's 5 of them that we're going to cover. And then with refunds, we've got a special offer coming in 10 minutes. And then with expenses, we're going to talk about Amazon fees, those pesky Amazon fees that people really have a hard time getting their heads around, along with pay-per-click, and then some stuff that you got to put in manually, your cost of goods sold, as well as other business expenses. But the question really that a lot of people have is, where does this come from? Where do you get the data? Well, the answer is in Seller Central dashboards and reports. So let's get going and I'll show you how to get to those. Starting off with sales. All right, units sold and revenue. This is everyone's favorite topic. Oops, excuse me, slipped ahead. All right, so units sold and revenue. Here we've got the dashboard view. So I do want to say that all of the data that I'm sharing today is either coming from my personal Seller Central accounts or from the Jungle Sticks account that you guys know a lot about, all the Jungle Scout users will know about. So here to get to the dashboard report, you're going to go to Reports, Business Reports, and then Sales and Dashboard. And this is something that everybody's really pretty common with, most Amazon sellers. It's great because you get to see units sold and product sales across your entire business. And it's really good for quick assessments, kind of high-level trends. But it's not much better than that, high-level trends. So considering that sales are truly the lifeblood of your business, we need to go deeper. So let's go deeper. All right. Here we're into the settlement report. To get to the settlement report, you're going to go to Reports, Payments, All Statements, and then you're going to download the flat file in the right-hand column. And now we're looking at the settlement report. So this is fully reconciled data. It's more accurate than the dashboard. It's important to know that the dashboard is not necessarily reconciled because it includes pending orders. Pending orders are those orders that customers have purchased your product but haven't yet had them shipped. So in those cases, Amazon doesn't actually consider the product as revenue and doesn't actually pay you for it yet. So the order has to move from pending to sold or to shipped. Once it does, then it goes into the settlement report. So for all intents and purposes today, the settlement report is a much better place to be in. So here you can see the quantity price, and then you can also see the quantity ordered. If you were to combine these numbers, the price and the amount ordered, you'd be able to pull this data into one mega file, and we'd be off and running with our units sold in revenue. That's the first step to calculating your profits. All right, now we're looking at promo rebates. Promo rebates are another important factor in sales because lots of Amazon sellers give products away at a discount. And you want to make sure you're incorporating the loss that occurs when you give a product away at a discount. Here we're looking at reports and the statement view. The other way to get to see your promo rebates is from the settlement report. So the same report we were just looking at a few minutes ago, you can go to Promotion ID, and that'll give you a nice, easy file that you can pull over into your mega file. So there's nothing crazy here. You're just going to try to grab all of the line items that related to your promotion ID. So all of your promo rebates, and drop that stuff into that mega file we've been talking about. Reimbursements. Reimbursements give a lot of Amazon sellers some queries. It's a bit confusing as to how Amazon reimburses you. Well, this reimbursements report makes it a little bit more clear. In the reimbursements report, you can just go into Seller Central and search reimbursements report. It's probably the fastest way to get there. You're going to see where Amazon is crediting your account for missing or damaged inventory. And this happens more frequently than I'm comfortable admitting. It happens quite a bit. But in column 2 here, you can see the reason. So you see customer returns, you see damaged warehouse, and you see reimbursement reversals. These are showing you exactly why Amazon issued a reimbursement, why they gave you money back into your account. And then in column 5 and 6, you can see whether they gave you cash or they gave you inventory. Now, I've highlighted a bunch of reimbursements from one of my Seller Central accounts in yellow here, and you can see these were actually cash reimbursements. But on the ones that I did not highlight, you can see that they're actually inventory reimbursements. So Amazon just put my inventory back into stock, no harm done, and there was no actual financial reimbursement. And then if you're curious at the bottom, you might every once in a while see a reimbursement reversal. This one's a bummer. This is where Amazon has reimbursed me at some point in past, and they've come back and reversed the reimbursement and taken the money back for whatever various reasons. And you can get into those reasons with Amazon. But those are your reimbursements. If you pull in all the financial equivalency there in the quantity reimbursed, you'd be able to drag that into your mega file to calculate total profits. All right, there's one more portion of your sales data before we get into expenses, and that's going to be your refunds. With refunds, you can go to business reports, sales and traffic, and then I've filtered on refunds here. So all you are seeing are refunds as opposed to a lot of other data that's available in this report. As usual, you could also go to the settlement report. But in the sales and traffic page, I want to draw a simple correlation that tells you how the sales and traffic page is different than what you see in the settlement report. So this is kind of a word of caution. Be careful when you're analyzing your data only through the sales and traffic dashboard. What you see here are all of the refunds that were charged to the actual date of the refund. In the settlement report, you actually see refunds that are charged to the original date of purchase. So let me give you an example. Let's say a customer bought Jungle Sticks on January 1st, but then later decided to return the Jungle Sticks, and on January 20th filed for a refund. In this dashboard view, you would see the refund show up on January 20th. That is the actual day of the refund. But in the settlement report, which is actually the report that's linked to how Amazon is paying you, you're going to see the refund charged all the way back to the original date of purchase, which was on January 1st. So just a word of caution when you're using the dashboard versus the settlement report. The settlement report is always more accurate. All right, guys, that actually concludes everything in the sales category. But before we move on, I want to share this really awesome resource that the Fetcher team has put together with my help. This is a ebook that's going to help you kind of sort through your refunds and find a way to actually cut refunds in half. I'm not kidding. We have numerous reports of sellers who've actually cut refunds in half by using this ebook. You can see Jonathan Weber's testimonial. I think it's really cool because he's showing you there that his refund rate actually went down from 7% in October to 3.5% during the holidays, usually the busiest time for refunds. So there's a bunch of good practical applications. It's about a 20-page ebook, a lot of good practical tips and tricks that you can use. So you can see the URL there. But Greg, can you hear me, man? I know you're going to post that link in the webinar chat box right now, right?
Shane, I'm one step ahead of you. For everyone watching, I posted it in the webinar chat box. It's at the top in green. So yeah, if you are interested in that, that is the link where you can find it.
Cool. So there's your refunds. Take a look at that guide, and I really hope it helps you. All right, now we are on to expenses. Amazon fees. Okay, so one of the most complicated subjects of all. First, I'm showing you the dashboard view. This is on the payments view, which is really easy to get to. You just go to reports, and then you go to payments. This is the statement view. And if you just wanted to get a quick high-level view of what your fees were for a certain period of time, particularly a statement period. So this one you can see from September 15th to September 29th in 2016. But really, and you're going to need to go into another level of detail, a common theme here. The transaction report on the right is going to give you the details you need to actually grab your data and bring it into the mega report to calculate profits. So to get there, you're going to go to Payments, Transaction View, and then click Download. And then you can sort by payment type and choose Amazon fees. So that's what I've done here, and I'm showing you a quick snapshot. This is really helpful because you can see service fees there at the top, which are highlighted in yellow. These are fees similar to what we call in Fetcher recurring fees. These are fees that are not transactional based. They're not based off of an individual sale. So a couple you see for me, you see me getting crushed with an FBA inventory storage fee in January. I know a lot of you guys got hit with that too. Boy, that hurts. But other sort of similar storage type and inventory fees would be found in service fees. And then if you go to the order payment fees, which you see below, those are all your transactional fees, what everyone knows as FBA fees. And a little bit of a premise for those that didn't know, Amazon's actually going to be changing the way that they look at FBA fees coming up. I can't remember the specific date, but there was an email that went out to sellers pretty recently, something that might be interesting to you. They're going to get rid of the order handling fee, the pick and pack fee, the weight handling fee. They're actually going to consolidate all of those into one simpler fee. But
yeah, I think that change is coming on February 22nd, if I remember right. That's how they've been doing it in like the EU for some time. So I'm going to have to look at the details of how that actually affects us as sellers as costs. Do you remember, Shane?
No, I'm not sure exactly, but something to look into.
Cool. Yeah, let me interrupt you real quick. What are some of these, like, I know you're very deep with all these fees and working with Fetcher and everything. What would you say are like some of these fees that like most people don't even know that Amazon's charging them?
Oh, I think the inventory storage fee is a pretty big one. Even though users know it's coming, they don't know when it, or like they know it's going to come, but they don't know when it came and how much it was for. So I'd say the storage fee is pretty big. You also see some disposal fees, like removal fees. A couple other ones like shipping credit refunds are pretty common. Those are kind of the ones that are coming to mind right now, Greg. Did you have another one in mind?
No, I was just curious what you had to say about it, but I was surprised on how many kind of like, in my opinion, sneaky fees. I mean, I'm sure it's in their terms of service, like buried somewhere, right? But there's quite a few, just like little, a quarter here, $1 there, $5 there, whatever, that I was surprised about. But
yeah, you're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right, and it gets sellers caught up a lot of times. And if you're really trying to get to accurate profits, according to our Sherlock's Home quote, if you really want the true facts behind your business, you've got to account for those. And they're hard to get to. You're absolutely right, Greg. All right, moving on to cost of goods sold. This is tricky because it's not managed in Seller Central, as you know. So cost of goods sold look a little different for people depending on if they're a private label seller, a retail arbitrage seller, or a fulfillment by merchant type seller. But in general, your cost of goods, as everyone knows, shipping, you see the image there. These are the freight forwarding. The best example for the private label community would be the shipping from your manufacturing site, say in China, to a port in Los Angeles. Then you've got reshipping. These are your Amazon services Amazon shipping services. So if you choose to have your goods shipped from the port into Amazon's fulfillment centers, taking advantage of Amazon's really low shipping costs, then that would be what we call reshipping in Fetcher. So that, as an example, would be now your product's in Los Angeles at the port, but you need to get it to the San Bernardino fulfillment center out in Eastern California. How would you do that? You could take advantage of Amazon shipping, and that'll get charged to you, as well as your production cost. So production cost is manufacturing. How much did it cost to actually acquire your product if you're a retail arbitrage seller, or to produce your product if you're a private label or an original product manufacturer? I like this little image here, you guys. This probably doesn't look like a lot of our factories in China. I know it doesn't look like the ones that I've been using. This is a 3D printing factory in China, an up-and-coming factory. Looks pretty
Shane,
cool.
real quick, for whatever reason, the webinar kind of like froze on the Amazon fees page. We didn't get to see, I think, your last, maybe like the two last.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe if you want to stop sharing your screen and start sharing it again or something.
Sure. Are you on Amazon fees right now, Greg? You still looking at Amazon fees? Okay.
That's correct.
I'll stop sharing and then I'll come back in just because we got a few more slides that I think will be helpful.
Okay, cool. And while Shane does that, Steve, I'll answer your question. Does Fetcher account for all the hidden fees, and does Fetcher integrate with QuickBooks Online? So yes, Fetcher does account for all the hidden fees that Amazon charges you. It does not integrate with QuickBooks Online. So Fetcher is actually able to be like a replacement for QuickBooks or Xero if you have like a pretty simple type FBA business. If it's a little bit more complex, you might need to kind of integrate the two. But as of right now, it doesn't have an online integration. Let me see while Shane does that. If there's Nikki confirmed that the new fees do come into effect on February 22nd. Thank you, Nikki, for that. And Dean said fee increases for books are going to go up over $2 per order, which, yeah, that kind of stinks. All right, let me see.
Sorry about that, Greg. I don't know. We're having a bit of trouble here with the presentation, but I've got a lot of these comments prepared already. So why don't we just move forward without the presentation?
Okay, sure. Do you want to go ahead and, was there anything on the last few slides you wanted to kind of walk us through? You can talk through to us?
Yeah, just a few more comments, guys, because there are a few other factors that we haven't considered. You've got pay-per-click, which is pretty quick and easy to get to from the campaign report. You've got your other business expenses. These are the things that maybe not necessarily on the forefront of your mind, but the shipping that it costs, or the shipping and labeling product stuff, if you need to prepare your products, or the warehousing, or maybe even product imagery. Those are the kind of things that you need to consider in other business expenses. So with that, guys, that really does summarize everything in the expenses bucket. So now you've got everything you need in the sales bucket. You've got everything that you need in the expenses bucket. And if you subtract expenses from sales, it should be as easy as calculating your profitability. But I think, as a lot of you know, and as I know all too well, it's just not quite that easy. You've got Excel files all over the place at this point, formulas out of control. And if you really want to get to the bottom of your profitability using Excel files, it's going to be challenging, Greg.
Yeah, I actually remember that's how I used to do it, kind of like back in the day. And I had like these macros that I built myself, but they were so buggy. It didn't work very well. It was such a pain. So you like download the reports and import them each week. So that, it was a pain.
Sure is. But we've got a solution. There's a better solution out there. And so
I think Shane's going to try to share his screen with us again. While he does that, Romain, can I backdate with Fetcher? Yes, Fetcher can go back 2 years of previous sales history. So if you were sign up today, it will import the previous 2 years of sales information, which is pretty cool. One caveat to that, I will say, Amazon doesn't have available in their API more than 90 days of PPC information. So it will pull in all the PPC information for the past 90 days. Before that, you do have to, there's a few like workarounds. Like you could put in one like monthly expense for that month of your PPC because it does tell you that. So there are some things you can do like that, but it doesn't give you like day-to-day like PPC spend. Let's see here. I think the webinar software is having some, if you can hear it, Shane, I think we're having some technical difficulties. We're just see a black screen for you. Let's see.
Hey, Greg, I'm back.
Hey, Shane. Hey, why don't I try? No worries. Why don't I try sharing my screen? We'll see if that works. I can pull up Fetcher, and you can kind of walk us through it. And
Perfect.
Hopefully it works.
Yeah, for some reason, when I'm sharing my screen, the software is taking me into the black world, and I'm not able to come back out and hear you guys.
The black world.
You can see my screen.
Now, see if there's some more questions. Lots of activity. Oh, cool. Some people have downloaded the refunds guide already. Nice.
Shane, are you able to see my screen?
So are you guys hearing us okay? Just want to confirm that you guys are hearing me, no problem.
I think everything looked fine with, or was fine with the audio, Shane.
Great,
I think
Darren, thank you so much. Guys, looks like Greg's just gone into the dark world too. I'm very sorry about all the technical difficulties here. Sometimes webinars coming back. Greg, any luck?
Yeah, I can see my screen. I can hear you fine, but I guess you can't see or hear me when I'm in the dark world.
Unfortunately not. I'm going to try one more time. Everybody says they can hear us. Thanks a lot, guys. I don't think they can see us. Unless just Greg, it's you and I who can't see each other's screen.
And
that's
it might
always
be
possible.
true. Tommy did just say that the Fetcher screen's up on YouTube, and I can hear both Shane and Greg. Let me try one more time on my end, Shane, and then
Okay.
Dean said the same thing, that the Fetcher screen is showing. I'm going to try it one more time.
Dennis, we've got lots to share here in Fetcher. Probably the most exciting thing. I'm seeing the screen. Greg, There we go, man.
All right.
Yes.
Don't touch anything now, Shane. This is delicate.
All right. I'm not going to touch anything, but I am going to direct you. Can you go to the dashboard, man?
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. And then, Greg, it'd be really cool if you could go to the calendar now and show everybody how in Fetcher, it's easy enough to just simply check back and see a lot of historical data. So, Greg, why not choose a start date of August 1st for us?
August 1st. All right.
Please. Nice. And apply that. Perfect. You could also see that Greg had the ability there to toggle between stores. So he's got a few other Seller Central stores. No problem. Fetcher will take it all. We can take your international accounts as well, those in Europe and in North America. Okay, cool. So now you can see with just the click of a few buttons, Greg's able to see all of his sales data, all of his cost data, and his total profits for the date that was selected. So much easier than working through those manual Excel files. So Greg, why don't you click on the sales box for us and we can just take a look at all of those categories that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, click that box there for us. It's just taking a second, I think. Nice, there it is. Here you can see units sold. You can see promo rebates. You can see refunds and reimbursements. These are all of the different segments that I was talking about earlier in Seller Central that are going to require you to go to a different report. So they're all rolled up into one simple box, total sales. Nice. Now, Greg, let's take a look at costs and expand that cost box for us.
All right.
Sweet. Again, remember all the expenses that we were talking about just a few minutes ago? Orders fees, cost of goods, pay-per-click, all of your orders fees too, or the recurring fees at the bottom. Those are the service fees we were talking about. All rolled up into one nice spot that finally give you your profitability for the selected date range. So much easier than what you're dealing with in Seller Central. So Greg, that's pretty cool. but I'd like to show people how we enter in our cost of goods sold. Could you take a look at the expenses page for us?
Sure.
All right, so here's our expenses page, and you can see with just the simple click of a few buttons, Greg can add the cost of bamboo marshmallow sticks that everybody's familiar with, the jungle sticks. Cool. So it costs $2.06 to manufacture the product, and then to ship it, it only costs 75 cents. I see we got some Jungle Scout t-shirts coming on the way. That'll be awesome once those get in.
They're already available on Amazon. Shane, I need to input my cost for them.
Oh, we haven't even inputted costs. All right, so that shows you exactly how you're going to enter in your costs. So
I
now
guess we can do it as an example. I'm trying to
Yeah, why
think.
not?
I think they were about $10 each, and to get them there, I think it was about $2. So it's as simple as that.
A little bit more expensive since they were made in the United States, I understand.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And then you can choose an effective date. And what I like about the effective date section is that you can create a long history, especially with the retail arbitrage sellers. They're going to have a long history of COGS, that might be changing on an almost weekly basis. Here we can keep an infinite track of your COGS history as those costs change. We have some requests for some free samples. So that's your costs. Now, Greg, can we take a look at the profit and loss page?
Sure can.
This is one of my favorites. Boom, there you go. From August until February, Jungle Sticks' profit and loss page, a really powerful snapshot of the health of your business. It's awesome because you can compare your business from month to month in each one of those categories. So in revenue, those are all the categories we talked about today: sales, refunds, reimbursements, promos. You can see how you're trending. You can really get a good idea of how the performance of your business has either gone up, gone down, stagnated, and then use that as the influencer to go in and make improvements. Same with the expenses section. Really cool to see your pay-per-click trends and all the other expenses data. So that's the profit and loss page. And then lastly, Greg, I'd like to look at the product breakdown page.
All right.
The product breakdown page is powerful for a couple of reasons. I know it looks similar to the dashboard page, but the difference here is that we give you the ability to look at each individual SKU. That is very, very hard to do in Amazon. One of the biggest challenges, actually. So just by clicking on that selection box, Greg has the ability to toggle between multiple products if he'd like. And then you can go down into the bamboo marshmallow sticks and see how your costs are doing. So let's go to that cost pie chart there, Greg, in the bottom left.
Sure.
You were asking earlier about, hey, what are the fees that people don't know about? Well, there you go. Take a look at the orders fees. If you click on the orders fees, you can see a proportionality breakdown of each one of those FBA fees, which is really sweet. If you wanted to see your service fees, it's worth doing. Let's go back to the dashboard for a quick second. You won't see them here because they're not assigned to a specific SKU. But Greg, can you go to the dashboard quickly one more time? Since we were talking about service fees, we can answer that question. Let's find the recurring fees. There we go, recurring fees. Look at all these crazy fees that people wouldn't typically be able to follow. Your subscription fees. How about that? The FBA inbound shipment carton level info fee.
That's one of those sneaky ones, like $240 for a half a year for an inbound shipment carton level fee. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I don't actually know that one either. But we've got a good question from Yannick in the chat box, and she's saying, where's this data coming from? Is it coming from the settlement report? Well, ultimately, the answer is yes, but it's coming from Amazon's API, their backend API. And we have access to a bunch of different reports where we're able to get the data from. So like, for example, the PPC data we get is more accurate than what you see in Seller Central. I'm serious about that. So we're back to product breakdown, and then you scroll down to the bottom, Greg.
Yep.
Let's see how pay-per-click is doing. Are you all the way at the bottom? I'm not quite able to see it on my screen. It might be delayed. Boom, there we go. All right, so you can see the Jungle Sticks pay-per-click sales, one-day sales. They've got an ACoS of 34%. He spent or got $14,000 in sales on only about $5,000 to spend. Not bad, but here's the big deal breaker exactly. When you open up the 7-day sales and you open up the 30-day sales. This is really cool. Those 30-day sales, look at the ACoS difference. There's a 27% ACoS. That's pretty good. I mean, a lot of people would be comfortable with that. I know I would as a seller. But the difference here in Betcher and in Seller Central is that you cannot see the 30-day PPC sales in your Seller Central dashboard. So what are 30-day sales? A lot of people don't even know what they are. Let's say, for example, somebody bought Jungle Sticks back on January 1st, but then they didn't put the item, or they put the item into their cart, rather. Sorry. They put the item into their cart on January 1st after clicking on an ad, and then they left it in their cart until January 28th and then purchased it. 28 days later. Well, that keyword and that ad should still get responsibility for that sale. It's a 30-day sale because it was still a sale attributed to that advertisement. So that's pretty cool. You'll be able to see those details in Fetcher, certainly not in Seller Central. So Greg, those are kind of the high-level pieces that I wanted to highlight. I mean, there's some other stuff in here, obviously. In the product settings section, you can hide products, you can customize stuff. There's more going on here, but I think at like a quick high-level view, that kind of covers it.
Can we talk about the refunds real quick,
Oh,
Shane?
yeah.
'Cause I think this is actually one of my favorite spots of Fetcher, is to be able to. So this is like really cool in my opinion. Like when you have an account that has like multiple products to kind of compare like how your different products are doing, you know. So these Jungle Sticks are actually really good. They only get returned at like 1.77%. And there was actually someone asking about this earlier in the chat. But compared to like some of my other products, like I actually didn't really know how much some of my products were getting returned. Like some of my products were getting returned at like 7, 8, 9, 10%. And that's actually like a big difference once you factor in, you know, that like if you're like me and usually just dispose of products when they get returned because you don't want to take the risk of putting them back in circulation because they might be damaged. That can be pretty significant if you're like throwing away 10% of your goods because they're getting returned, you know? And there's also some sneaky fees associated with the returns, isn't there, Shane?
Yeah, oh, there sure are. You know, the nature of the returns game in Amazon is that it's kind of rigged in favor of the customer. The seller is usually going to come out on the low end. But we've got a really cool feature actually in the works. I want to give a little snapshot of what could be coming here in Fetcher. We are going to build a refunds tool that's going to export a document showing sellers all of the products that have either been lost or damaged by Amazon, but haven't received reimbursement from Amazon. So when a refund occurs for a reason that's attributed to Amazon, Amazon's responsible, but you haven't got a refund, we're going to give you an exported file that you can send on to Amazon, and then they will credit you back for that. So they're going to see a boost in reimbursements, which would be really cool. We're going to build it right into this refund section, Greg. A little bit of a clue of what's to come with Fetcher.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Nice. I think that summarizes everything we wanted to show today in Fetcher. And I think we've got a big message here coming. Why don't we get out of the app, Greg, unless there's something else you wanted to share? Cool, guys. Greg's just done sharing a screen. It usually takes a few seconds for the volume to come back, the audio. There's Greg. All right, guys, I hope you liked what you've seen in Fetcher. We've worked really hard on the product. We've got a lot of customers who are enjoying it, and I want to extend an offer to all of you guys. So right now, Greg is going to paste in the chat box an offer for 50% off your second month of Fetcher. Your first month, completely free. 31 days, no risk trial. You can sign up today, get all of your data imported, and you're going to see your true Amazon profits just as quickly as we were able to do right there with Jungle Sticks. So we're going to give you the 31-day free trial, and then for a limited time only, we'll probably only extend this offer for, 24 hours, Greg? What do you think? And leave them the 50% offer.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Shane, sorry, I was just reading the chat box here. And you're getting a lot of love here. Derek said it's amazing. Pat said Fetcher looks awesome. Matt said I've been using it for a while and I love it. So that's pretty sweet. There's a lot of people who are excited about it.
I'm glad to hear that because it really is changing the lifestyle for Amazon sellers. I think this is one of the big sells. Amazon sellers, as you know, Greg, need to be focused on selling products. They need to be focused on growing their business. They don't need to be focused on calculating profitability in Amazon. I think you'll find, as I've found and as Greg has found for his personal business, that Fetcher will save you a ton of time and add you a ton of value. And we're going to give it to you free for a month and then 50% off for the second month.
Absolutely. Ryan said Fetcher plus Forecastly equals awesome, and I agree with him. I'm a big Forecastly fan too, and they complement each other really nicely. We have one question here, Shane. Can cost of goods sold be uploaded by spreadsheet?
It can. I'm glad that question was asked. I probably should have highlighted it. But yes, it can be simply and easily. You guys, we have tons of customers who have 10,000 plus SKUs, if you can believe that. 10,000 plus SKUs. Obviously, no one's entering in those costs manually. You just upload them by file. Very easy to do.
Bell said, I spent a lot of time doing numbers. This is going to help you so much. Thanks, with 100 exclamation marks. Santiago wants to know, is this working in Europe?
Sure is. Every single marketplace in Europe. We actually just launched last month. We're really excited about it. And we've got Europeans pouring in by the hundreds right now. It's an exciting platform for them.
In Mexico and Canada?
You got it. North America and Europe, all covered.
And multiple seller accounts in one fetcher.
Ooh, I'm really excited about this because this is something, we have a few competitors out there, but no competitors are doing this, guys. We're going to let you upload as many Seller Central accounts as you need. It could be from Europe, it could be from North America, it could be a combination of both for no extra cost. So that's pretty cool.
So as many Seller Central accounts as you want into one fetcher account for no extra cost.
You got it. Fantastic.
Let's see what other kinds of questions we can answer here. Is there anything you can speak on for VAT tax with the European stuff?
Yeah. Hey, for the Europeans right now, we don't actually incorporate VAT in the Fetcher application, but we're working on a solution. I've actually had a conversation with our developers earlier this week about building in a solution for that. So it's coming. For now, we have a short-term solution, though. You can just build in your estimated VAT into your cost of goods sold, or you can add it into other expenses, and we'll calculate it with all of your other Fetcher-related expenses into your final profits. But we are working on an automated solution to that.
Nice. How frequently is Fetcher data updated?
Oh, this is a cool one too. We were being updated every 30 minutes. Now we've been optimized down to 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, Seller Central and Fetcher are being linked. We're hoping to get it down even tighter.
Nice. So every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes.
A couple questions in here about additional expenses, like not cost of goods sold, but like marketing expenses, this expense, that expense. Can you enter that stuff into Fetcher?
Yes, you can enter all that stuff into Fetcher. We have a section called Other Expenses in the Expenses tab that we just showed you. If we had toggled over, we could have shown you. And all you have to do there is enter in the cost, enter in the name of the expense, and then you can associate it with a SKU, which is really cool. Say it's a cost that's specific to a SKU, you can do that, or you can assign it to the entire business, whichever you prefer, and then you can set it on a frequency. So if you want that cost to recur every single day, or you want it to recur every single month or every single year, or be a one-time expense, no problem, we can do all that.
Nice. Yeah, I know that's really nice for, say, for instance, like you're a Jungle Scout user, you're paying $39 a month. It's pretty nice to just like set in your expenses. You can do the recurring fee to make sure like you're factoring that in every month. That's pretty cool. I think there's a question again about, so what's the normal Fetcher offer, Shane, and what's the discount that we're offering?
Sure. Guys, Fetcher is $19 a month for about 90% of our total users. Once you get an account that's got more than a certain number of orders per month, we're going to charge you a little bit more. But for 90% of Amazon sellers that are using Fetcher, it's $19 a month. So for the first month, we're going to give it to you for free. And then for the second month, we're going to give it to you for $9.50.
Fantastic.
That'll get you started.
Let's see here.
Well, some cool questions about plugins and integrations with accounting features. Those aren't ready yet, Tom, but we are working on that. We're very interested in integration with Xero, TaxJar, and QuickBooks. Those are software solutions that we want to be able to integrate with, and we'll be working heavily on. Got a great development team that's taking on a lot of those projects.
Sharon's asking about the FBA fee changes and how Fetcher will be affected with that. Sharon, we'll take care of all that for you. So like you don't have to worry about that. Fetcher will be automatically updated at the day that it takes place. You have nothing to worry about there. We'll handle that for you. Let me see.
What else do we got, Greg?
I know we had a lot of questions in here. I know we were missing some. Guys, we'll take questions for just a few more minutes. So if you do have any last questions for us, we'll be more than happy to help you. let's see here. Matt asks, are you hiring? Yes, we are.
We always like good people, don't we?
Absolutely. JungleScout.com/jobs. I think we have a few open positions right now. Let's see. Yeah, we're a lot of love for Xero and QuickBook plugins. So we'll have to move those high up on the list, Shane.
You got it.
Let's see. The new refund feature that you gave us a sneak peek in, Shane, any idea on
estimate?
Frame? Yeah.
I would love to say Q1. I would love to say Q1 by the end of March. It's possible.
Nice. Right on. Eugenia, this webinar is recorded. The best thing to do if you want access to the recording is go to YouTube, search for Jungle Scout, subscribe to our channel, and that way you'll know when these are released. So after the webinar, it takes a few hours, and after that, it'll be posted to YouTube, and you can find the link for it there. Is Jungle Scout used in combination with Fetcher? That's Tom's question. And yes, absolutely. They complement each other really nicely. So as a lot of the people on the webinar know, Jungle Scout is a product research solution. So Jungle Scout helps sellers find profitable products to sell on Amazon. It complements Fetcher really nicely because once you have those products for sale up on Amazon, Fetcher is going to handle all that bookkeeping for you. It's going to put your bookkeeping on autopilot. So yeah, absolutely. They work together really nicely. Special for a subscription today. Yeah, in that green box at the top of the chat, guys, that's the special link with a coupon code. So you get 50% off the second month. The first month's totally free. The second month's half off. After that, it's normal pricing. The pricing tiers are between $19 and $99, but like Shane said, like about 90% of sellers fit in the $19. So it's really inexpensive, especially considering the headaches you save with not having to deal with Excel anymore.
I hope people don't mind me saying it's the cheapest in the industry. It's the best price right now, the best value.
Absolutely,
beat that price.
And for anyone who subscribes today, I'm sure down the road prices will be going up for new customers. But if you do subscribe today, you'll be locked into that price as long as you keep it. So you don't have anything to worry about. Shane, Dean's asking, can you hand over the P&L statement to your accountant? Does it work well for that?
Oh, it sure would. Right now, we're building an export feature. By the end of this month, I can guarantee we're going to have an export feature for the P&L. So the P&L will be easily exportable into whatever spreadsheet software you prefer, let's say Excel, and then that could be turned over to your accountant for tax needs or whatever else you would need.
Nice. And Shane, even without the export feature, I went ahead and just hit file, print the screen. I just gave that to my accountant. I already gave it to him. So even without the export feature, you can still just print the page out and give it to him.
Great point.
So
we got a sign up, Grace. Nice.
All right. Fantastic. Well, with that being said, Shane, I think it's about wrapping it up. I think we answered most people's questions. We got a ton of love for Fetcher, which is really good to hear. I know everyone at Jungle Scout and you, Shane, and your dev team are working really hard on it. So I'm glad to see that everyone likes it so much.
Me too. Yeah. Well, Greg, thanks so much for having me on. I'm glad we were able to keep it under an hour. Hopefully we packed a lot of good, helpful content for people. I really hope that people will check out Fetcher, kind of remembering that Sherlock Holmes quote. You want to get the facts right. You want to use facts to drive decisions in your business. I wasn't doing that until Fetcher came around, until we built Fetcher. I have to be honest, my documentation and my finances were probably not in order until Fetcher came around. Now I'm a lot more confident with the business decisions that I'm making. So I think people should take advantage of the free offer. It only takes 3 minutes to sign up, and then you're going to be letting Fetcher do the hard work for you. It's going to give you the facts about your business so you can focus your energy on building your business.
Fantastic. Shane, thank you again for coming on. Guys, if you want to find out more, even if you're not ready for a Fetcher sign up, the Fetcher blog is a great resource at junglescout.com. We have a tremendous free resources section. You can find our Facebook group. It's called the Amazon FBA Competitive Edge. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and because we have a lot of free content that we like to give out all the time. So we're always here to try to help you guys as much as you can. if you have any questions, shoot them over to hello@fetcher.com. We have a fantastic customer support team. Shane's usually in there helping out too. If you have any questions, we'll even help get you started in your account or anything else that you need help with. So, so thanks again for coming on, Shane. I very much enjoyed it. I think everyone else did too, and I will see you later.
See you guys.
Bye.